there we go. I'm now live. Facebook Live. I'm going to wait about 5 minutes for people to enter the room, and then I'll start the virtual class. Basically, this is a video class about how to buy your primary home as an investment. We'll wait for people to show up a little bit more. Wait a couple minutes. Again, we're going to go over how to buy your home as an investment instead of buying your home just to live in it, just to have it, just to keep it, do what you want with it. This is how to buy it so you can rent it out in the future, or you can stay in your home, your condo, single family, multifamily, and have the price appreciate. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes, and then I'm going to start. So welcome. There's a chat, so if anybody has any questions, please put it here. Please ask all your questions here. You can comment too. All right, one more minute. One more minute for the stragglers. A little bit different than I do a lot of Zoom classes. I'm usually learning, and people have commented and talking through them. This is a little bit different. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, put them in the chat box. All right, we're going to go ahead and start, okay? Probably know me because this is only going to Facebook friends, but I'm Eric Gerard. I'm a realtor, a co-op banker. I've been doing real estate since 2007. I've been investing in real estate for this last 7 or 8 years. I was on the Rental Income podcast, talked about how I bought my first home as an investment, then I rented it, used the cash flow to live in Thailand for 6 months, then again for 7 months. Price appreciated. I used that money to buy a single family home, and then eventually use a 1031 exchange, which is a way to defer your taxes, to buy a property, a 4-family, after I sold the condo. But this is the basis of what I did and how you can buy your home, your primary home, as an investment. So how is that different than what most people do anyways? Don't people buy their own home, it appreciates, they sell it, they either get a bigger house, or they move somewhere else, or they just take the money? How is this different? Well, the big thing is I want you to start thinking like an investor. People can get lucky. People can buy in a high appreciating market, but it doesn't mean they knew what they were doing. They just knew the prices were going up and they had the means to buy. That's not investing. Investing is having a set criteria that you use every time to buy. All right, so that's what I want to teach you. The difference between spending, or what we call them buyers, buying, and investing. Investing is systematic. Buying is, I want a 3-bedroom house with a long driveway and an acre of land and a garden and all these other things. To an investor, that sounds like a nightmare, unless there's like 100 units or something. You don't want an acre of land. That's an acre you have to get someone or yourself to mow. You don't want a long driveway. You have to remove that snow in the Northeast. That's maintenance. All that eats away at your profits. So it's a way of thinking that I'm trying to get everyone in this class to get on board with. To think like, how do I think like an investor? How do I buy property where it makes sense versus I just want to buy. I just want to buy, which is totally fine. If you want to buy, you want to live in it, you have lots of control, and it's better than not buying. Because what's 0% of the apartment you live in right now? Okay? 0%. That's your ownership stake. You rent for 20 years, you get nothing at the end. You own for 20 years, you're going to get something back. You're going to get it. We're going to talk about that, but I wanted to give you that introduction. All right, so there are 3 major benefits to owning property as an investment. As an investment. Okay, number 1, cash flow. Okay, your monthly payment needs to be lower than the rent. All right, cash flow. You should get $100, $200 per door, per apartment, per house. We say door, at least. Okay, second thing, price appreciation. That's what everybody knows, prices go up. I bought my condo for $174,000. Sold it for $374,000. That's price appreciation. Then there's debt pay down. I bought for $174,000. I put down, say 10, so it was $164,000, and then I paid down the debt to $140,000 until I got an equity loan. So I paid down the debt, and the price went up. So that's number 3, paying down the debt. Either you pay down the debt over a couple years, 1 year, 5 years, and then your renters pay down the debt for you. Okay, that's very important. Because when you own a property just to live in it, unless you make your kids pay you rent or something like that, all right, you're paying out of pocket. You want to look at the property as an investment that you're going to rent one day, not as a property that you're not going to rent one day, that you're just going to live in it and then you're going to sell it. You don't want to think that way, all right? So how do you know if it's a good investment? So we're going to go over these. There's hard criteria, such as cap rates, the going-in cap rate, the future cap rate, cash-on-cash returns, and more. There are soft criteria, such as views, outdoor space, ceiling heights, location. Those are intrinsic value. Okay. Then there's the bird's eye view. Is the area improving? Do you see new sidewalks, new infrastructure, new, minor league baseball or major league baseball teams and stadiums being built? Is it getting nicer? There are newer buildings, businesses, more expensive restaurants? Or is it exactly the same as it was 20 years ago, but it's more expensive? Okay? You want to invest in places that the city is invested in. So it's getting better and better and better. You don't want to invest in real estate that is the same, which is really getting worse. Because if it's the same every year, it's deteriorating a little bit more. So you have your hard criteria, soft criteria, and your bird's eye view criteria. Next thing to know, we're going to talk about are the type of homes. Okay, I prefer condos as a very beginner way to get into real estate investment, but you don't have to. Multifamily homes are actually less risky. We'll go over that. You could also buy a single-family home. You could buy a mobile home. You can buy land. That's probably the riskiest because you got to do a lot more than just move in and renovate a kitchen or bathroom. You have to, buy that, and there's a lot more metrics, and it's more in the realm of commercial real estate. But you can do it. Next thing, you have to know about your risk tolerance, what you can take on. A lot of people, most people can't buy land to then put a property on it, get it connected to the utilities, etc. That just freaks them out. Other people, that's comfortable. That's within their wheelhouse. So you have to know what your risk tolerance is, what you can sleep at night with. if you buy a property and you're up all night, then you probably bought something too expensive, or the type of property was wrong for you. You want to buy a property that when you go to bed, you smile like Homer Simpson does in that meme where he just, smiles and his head's on the pillow. That's what you want. So let's go over these criteria before anything else. Cap rate. I called it cap rate. That's short for capitalization rate. A capitalization rate goes like this. You buy a home for $100,000. Say if you bought it cash. $100,000. And every year you got $10,000 back in your pocket after all expenses. Okay? That capitalization rate or cap rate would be 10%. Now, when you buy property, you usually don't get the capitalization rate that you deserve. You get what's called a going-in capitalization rate. And I'm going to just call it cap rate, going-in cap rate. A going-in cap rate, say for that same $100,000 property, and that's just an example. That's not a listing that I have in my head. That's just a mathematical example. The $100,000 property, you're going to start off with, you should have a cap rate of at least 5%, if not 6 or 7% going in. That means when you're buying in the property. Because if you go in the property and you have a 2% cap rate, you're losing money. You're definitely going to be losing money. Okay? You want a 5% or higher cap rate going in. The next thing is the future cap rate. Now, the future cap rate is, of course, the future. It's the cap rate of the future. When you get the rents from $10,000 a year, like $3,000 a year, to $7,000 to $10,000, okay? And eventually, over time, it's going to be $20,000, $30,000. But your mortgage payment, if you don't refinance, are going to stay the same. The principal and interest are going to stay exactly the same. So you make more money with time. That's why it's very important not to just rush and sell, because at least with the capitalization rate, rents are going to go up and your expenses are going to remain pretty stable while rent keeps going up. Okay, so you have the capitalization rate. Your goal is 10%. You might get 5%, 7% when you buy the property. That's the going-in cap rate. But within a couple years, the future cap rate should be 10%, 9%, 8%. Those are all great numbers. If you buy a property for $500,000 and you get you buy it for $1 million and you get, how much is that? $100,000 a year. You're doing $80,000 a year. You're doing great. You really are. So don't let perfection be the enemy of good. You don't have to have the 10%. My criteria would be at least 6% or higher. Okay, I like to go in around 6.5, 7, and then with a future cap rate of 8.5, and then the future cap rate 10% plus. The next criteria you want to use is called cash on cash return. Now that just means if you spend $1, how much money you get back. If I spend $100,000 to buy a $100,000 property and I get $10,000 back, I get a 10% cap rate, but also a 10% cash on cash return. But we usually buy property not with cash, but with down payments. So for $100,000, and we did a 20% down payment, which is $20,000. And then you divide that by the $10,000 return, you get a 200% return, cash on cash return. So that's fantastic. What you don't want, so you just double your money. Oh wait, 10,000 divided by 20,000. That's a 50% cash on cash return. So you put in 20,000 and you got back 10,000, and every year you get 10,000. That's great, 50%. You don't want to do 100% financing because your cash on cash return, the return you get on the cash, even with a 10% cap rate, is only 10%. I'm going to do 20% down. But in this example, for this class, what we're going to do is think about 3% down. So $3,000 is all you're going to put down. And you get $10,000 back. Now, when you do that, the returns are 300%, more than 333% return cash on cash. All right? That's where the magic is. You spend way less money up front, and your returns are way larger when you do down payments, especially when you do lower down payments. Another way to look at things is called the total return, or return on investment, which I call it the total return. It's the cash you pay divided by the combination of cash flow, appreciation, and equity. There's also return on equity. That's the cash you invested divided by equity. That's how much equity you had from the time you purchased the property and now. So if you purchased the property for $100,000, you put 3% down, so you have $97,000. A $97,000 mortgage, but then it appreciates to $150,000, and you pay it down, let's say $10,000 within 5 years. This is just a mathematical example. And you owe $87,000, but it's worth $150,000, which is $63,000. So then we divide that by the $3,000 you put down, and what do we get? 63,000 divided by 3,000. You get 21 times. Okay? Imagine anything you put your money in, and within 5 years, you got 21 times that amount. That's the type of power real estate investing has. Even though that's just an example, you get those returns when you take into account everything, and especially over time. So to recap, that's great. We have the cap rate, capitalization rate. That is what you're going to get back after expenses per year. All right. So you buy for $100,000. You get $10,000 a year from it. The cap rate's 10%. The going-in cap rate is probably lower. You buy for $100,000, you get $6,000 or $7,000 a year, 6 or 7%. Future cap rate should be between 7 and 10. So if you go in there, going-in cap rate $6,000. In a couple of years, you get $8,000, eventually up to $10,000. Cash on cash returns. Okay, if you spend $100,000 to buy a $100,000 property, and you get $10,000 back after all expenses, your cash on cash return is 10%. But if you do 3%, for instance, that's $3,000, and you get $10,000 back after all expenses every year. Then your return is a little bit more than triple what you put in. So you went from 10% to 333%. So your cash returns are much greater. Total returns, or sometimes it's called return on investment, is the cash that you pay divided by everything: cash flow, appreciation, and equity. Return on equity is just the cash divided by the equity. So now you have this framework: cap rate, at least going in at least 6%, future cap rate 7 to 10%. Cash on cash returns, what should it be? They say when you start doing 25% down payments, it should be 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20%. But in this example, it's going to be way higher. So you'll do the math and you'll realize, oh, all right, well, I might be getting only, say you buy a place for $200,000 and you put down $6,000 to buy it, and you're only getting $3,000. That's still great cash on cash returns. You put in $6,000, you got 50% back as a return. Eventually, over 2 years, you pay your down payment back from the cash flow. Then it's all in your pocket. The returns on the ROI, the total returns, you're taking the cash $6,000 and you divide it by how much cash flow, $3,000 a year, plus the appreciation, plus the equity. Actually, you would just make that cash flow and equity. And then you have the cash divided by the equity, which is another way to measure how well you did for your investment. But it comes down to this. The simple rule is this. Your monthly payment should be less than what you would have paid in rent, or in these examples, it should be less than the income you receive from renting the rooms or other apartments or renting the whole place out, okay? The next thing I'm going to go over quickly is the rent price versus the owning price. What you want to do is that if in your area rents for 2 bedrooms are $1,500, you want to find a property that after you pay the mortgage, the insurance, taxes, condo fees, whatever it is, your monthly payment should be below $1,500, $1,000, $1,200, $800, much less than $1,500. Because you could either pay yourself, that is, you pay down your own debt, get the price appreciation, the debt pay down, you do that, or you rent for more money and get 0%. You can get, going in cap rate 6-7%, or you get 0%. You can get appreciation, or you can get 0%. You can get debt pay down, or you get 0%. You can get equity, or you get 0% of that. You can get cash flow, you get 0% cash flow. Okay? You want your monthly payment to be lower than it would be if you bought, the monthly payment has to be lower than what the rent would be in the same area. Remember that. That's very important. So, the next thing I'm going to talk about, it's called house hacking. All right? House hacking is just a term, it's a buzz term they created. All it means is this. Say you buy a condo, a 3-bedroom condo, 3-bedroom house. Like I said, the rents usually let's say 3 bedrooms go for $2,000 in your neighborhood. You buy it and your monthly payment is $1,500. And you're saying to yourself, I can't really afford $1,500 by myself. But what if you can rent those rooms for $500 each? Okay? You can buy for $500 each. Now you're going to be paying $1,000. They're going to be paying $1,000. You're going to have $500 in your pocket. That's an example of house hacking. Another example is that if you buy a property, and say you buy a property like a 3-family or a 2-family, you live in one of them, then you rent the other ones. Very simple, right? So say you buy a 3-family in Worcester for $500,000, your monthly payment's $2,500. You rent the second and third floor for $1,500 each. That's $3,000. Then you're getting $500 in your pocket and rent free. That's a house hack. Take it another step. You buy the same 3-family, you get $1,500, $3,000 in rents from the other tenants, and then you rent your bedrooms out. Now you're cash flowing even more. You're getting rid of your rent, and you're getting money in your pocket. That allows you to save money for more investing, for more financial freedom. So those are the basic models. You can either rent rooms in your house or a condo, or you can rent the other apartments in multifamily homes, or you can do a combination of both. Now, I would recommend, and it sounds crazy, I would recommend multifamily investing. If I were to go back in time, I would have bought a multifamily. And it's very simple, all right? When you want to scale, that means that you want to buy lots of property. If you have 3 condos, you have 3 mortgages. Okay, you have 3 locations, you have 3 roofs. Say if it's 3 houses, or even condo buildings have roofs too. You have 3 heating systems, 3 of everything, all right? That gets expensive. What you want to do is take all 3 and put it under one roof. It's less risky because you have more streams of income coming in. And when you get vacancies, you can weather them. If you have 3 different condos, right, and one goes vacant, you could be losing $1,000, $2,000 a month until it gets rented. When they're in a 3 family and you lose one, you could be breaking even still. You might still get some cash flow. So you want them all under one roof. You don't want like a crazy management experience where you're like, I got to go to Brockton, I got to go to Boston, I got to go to Worcester, I got to go to Springfield. All my properties are everywhere. Okay? Maybe if you have like 20 unit buildings everywhere, but you don't want 1 unit all over the place. Plus, when it's in one building, you get 1 contractor, 1 handyman. Okay, you can get that all for 1 property in 1 area. You don't have to have a different guy or girl in a different area, different person in a different area. You want it all under one roof. Say you buy a single family house too, and you lose your job, and you didn't house hack. You say, oh man, how am I going to pay for this? I don't have any income coming in. If you had a multifamily and you lost your job, you'd have income coming in. You could say, oh good, 2nd and 3rd floors coming in. So at least I have that. I got to get a job quickly because I can't just rely only on the cash flow of these tenants because they could lose their job. So I want to, but at least I have time, at least I have options, and I don't have to get behind on my payments. So multifamily investing is the way to go. All right, so next thing to talk about is how do you pay for it? How do you pay for housing? How do you pay for this investment? Okay? Well, there are options for you. You can pay as little as 0% down or as high as 100%. Typically, down payments are 3% to 5% for first-time home buyers. They do have 0% programs if you're a veteran or a wife of a veteran, and there's some other veteran-related benefits you could get if you qualify. That's a 0% loan, a VA loan, 0%. If you buy in a USDA area, which is farm area, but doesn't have to be a farmland, it's just on a map basically. They've cut out places and said this is USDA land. If you buy here, it's 0%. You can buy a 0% down home that way. They have community programs. Every city has something where first-time home buyers can borrow the money or get it as a grant, the 3%, 5%, and then if they stay in their home long enough, they get the money back. As in the city will forgive them. There are those programs. There's FHA, which do as little as 3.5% down. We can also get a conventional loan that's 3%, 3.5% down as well, and it's way better. You get a better rate, a better APR, no lifetime PMI, none of that. So if you have more questions on financing, let me know. But you can pay as low as 0%, but typically I would say 3 to 5% down. That's great because when you're looking to maximize your cash-on-cash returns, you're going to want a low down payment. So what do? You want to buy an investment property. You say, all right, Eric, you got me motivated. I want to buy property. This is going to be great. Let's do this. So the first thing you got to do is look at the rental market. Okay, not the sales market. You got to look at the rental market. You got to look at what rents are going for in your area if you moved. Okay, you probably may be getting a great rate right now. Or maybe you're paying really high because you live in like a Wexford Village or some type of like village area like where like a gated community, and you're paying a lot more than market price. Well, guess what? It's not as expensive elsewhere in the city or elsewhere in that town. All right, so look at rates. So you say you're looking at one beds and you say, oh man, a decent one bed's $1,400 in Worcester. How much is it to buy a one bedroom condo in Worcester? Oh, it's this much. How much is the monthly payment? All right, so the monthly payments probably is lower, right? If you find that, guess what? You found a good house hacking deal. You found a good investment deal. You're going to pay less monthly than what you would pay in rent. Look, if it's 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms or houses, just look it up. Look what's out there. You have resources open to you. It's not like the old days. You have Zillow. You can ask realtors. You have Rentometer. You have GoSection8.com. That will give you what a Section 8 rents are, which is a good indicator. HUD publishes their maximum amounts for Section 8. You could look at that to get an idea of the rental market. You can look at apartments.com. There's a lot of sources. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Just open up an Excel sheet. Create an Excel sheet where it says the address or area and the size of the apartment, how much the square feet, all of that. You just figure out what rents are. It doesn't take that long. This could take a couple of weeks to really get a good feel. Then you look at the sales market. And then you start analyzing each property. Okay, how much would my monthly payment be for this multifamily? Okay, if I got the rents to go up this amount, how much money would come in? How much are the rents right now? Can I do that? What do I need to do? You then see how you can go from thinking about what am I going to rent to what am I going to buy and have a lower monthly payment. That's where the magic happens. What you don't want to do is say, hey, this is a great idea. Right? I think I can make money in real estate. I saw a property, a one bedroom. It's $350,000 and it's going to appreciate. It's on Water Street. It's a loft. It's amazing. Yeah, maybe you'll appreciate, but now you're playing. You're not investing. You're speculating. Investing is different than that. Flipping houses isn't investing. That's just real estate reselling. Just like if you bought something off online and you like furniture and polished up that bureau and it looks like it's newer, then you sold it for more money. You didn't invest. You resold it. Okay? If you buy property hoping that it's going to appreciate, what if it doesn't? What if the market crashes? That happens all the time. When you're looking at everything, you say, oh, I think it's going to appreciate, but rents are this much. I need to buy so the monthly payment's this much. All right, then. That's what I'm looking for. Because if prices go down, so what? Rents are going to stay the same. Sometimes they go up when the sales market goes down because people have to live somewhere. So the demand for rentals goes up. Now what are you looking at? You're looking at a situation where you're getting rental income, you're getting cash flow, and you don't have to worry about appreciation. Appreciation goes like this. Okay? It doesn't go in a straight line. It goes up and down, but over time it gets smoothed out. So you really want to buy with cash flow in mind. If you don't, you can find yourself underwater. That means that you owe more than what the home is worth, and then with no cash flow. So you're losing money because the rents are too low or you bought too expensive and the rents aren't covering your expenses. Okay? You want to get out in front of that. You want to buy properties as the home you're going to live in. You want to buy that with 3 to 5% down with the mindset of an investor. Okay, you don't want to buy it with the mindset of a buyer. Like, I want the best. I want central air, and I want everything completely renovated, and I'll pay the $450,000 for this single-family home. I love it. You can do that, but you're not investing. This is about investing. All right, that's basically it. That's my first Facebook class. I hope you liked it. Right now in the comment section, if you have any legitimate questions, my friend made a joke in the comment section, but if you have any legitimate questions about what I said, and it was a lot, and I hope to do Zooms in the future, Zoom video where I can do presentations, but if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section, and that will be open for a couple more minutes. Let me know what your questions are. Have any questions? Did you understand my video? Yes, no. Thank you, John Stevens. All right, that was great. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to repost this on my news feed. It's just for friends and on Facebook, friends and family and co-workers. And hope to see you soon. Have a great night.